Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use the IA's Finals dashboard in Polaris. This is the report that you want to click into right here, IA's Finals Dashboard 2021. Make sure you're in the 2020-2021 reports folder and not last year's folder. So you'll click in. You want to use the IA's in Finals dashboard, so you'll click here. And once this loads, you're going to have access to quite a bit of information. So I'm going to show you today the things that I think would be useful as just a starting out point for you to review as we are reviewing some of our finals. There's obviously a ton that you could do in this report, and I'm not going to make a 4-hour video here, but I do want to show you just some of the basics. So the first thing I would do here is I'm going to focus in on our school. So I'm going to just click under school, Byers Middle School. And let's say I want to start with the Reading 6 IA. I want to break that down by reading performance band. So let's click apply and see what that does for us. Great, so now Polaris has given us this report that shows us a breakdown of scores for this IA, PB1A, PB1B, Performance Band 2, Performance Band 3, and Performance Band 4. You'll see a couple of different bars here. The gray bar is the average score for that performance band. So for instance, the average score for Performance Band 2 was 31% on this specific test. Wherever you see a colored bar, in this case it's orange because Byers is orange, that is the percentage of students at or above the benchmark, and the benchmark is listed here. So for this version, 70% is the benchmark, and in Performance Band 3, 9% of our students were above that 70% benchmark. In Performance Band 4, 20% of our students were above that benchmark, and the average was a 55%. Okay, so that's one just broken down by performance bands. The next piece here, I think it's helpful for us to look at a few things. So we could start with race and ethnicity. Okay, for race and ethnicity, this is also broken down by our reading performance bands as well. Okay, if you didn't want to carry that over, you could just say no breakout, and it would just sort then by race and ethnicity. So a couple of options here. You could play around with what you're looking at, but in this breakdown specifically, if we're looking at our Black and African American students, the average score on this assessment was a 37%. As a reminder, to see the percentage of students that were above the benchmark, you would just pop down into this colored bar here. In this case, it's green. And the percentage above the benchmark is 7%. Okay, you can see the same data for our Hispanic and Latino students, our white students, our Asian students, and our American Indian or Alaskan Native students. You also have the option of breaking down by our multi-language learners. And again, you can do a breakdown just based on multi-language learners. So this is all students regardless of performance band. You could also combine this and do by performance band first and then by our language development status. So we call our students who are multi-language learners MLLs. On Polaris, it's marked ELL, English Language Learner, and non-ELL. So you could see here, PB1A, here's the breakdown between our English language learners and our non-English language learners, so just English proficient. Same for PB1B, PB2, PB3, and PB4. If we wanted to keep this reading performance band as our main sort, we could then look at our students who qualify for special education. Same thing here. You could see non-SPED versus SPED. So non-SPED, of course, is just going to be our general education population, and SPED will be our students with disabilities. And you can see breakdowns by performance band and by non-SPED versus SPED. Okay, another one that I think could sometimes be helpful here is looking at gender and just seeing your male-female breakdown across the board by performance band. So those are a few of the ones that I look at when I'm reviewing some of this data. Of course, as you could see, there's a huge breakdown here. If you wanted to get really specific and look at how students are doing dependent upon the teacher, you could definitely do that. We have the wonderful Luke Morin and the equally wonderful Amanda Bardis, and you could break it down by teacher as well. If we're scrolling down here, if you just keep on scrolling at the very bottom, regardless of how you choose to break this down, so let's say we chose to break it down by performance band and by teacher, if you scroll down, you'll be able to go in and see students and how they performed on the IA. So if you wanted to sort here, you could, and you could sort by PB, you could sort by teacher. It's really whatever's up to you. And this is going to be really useful as we're thinking about an action plan moving forward. Of course, this is not the only data we want to look at, but if a student scored 8%, that could be a student that we want to flag and do a little bit more digging on. So this is just a real basic breakdown of how we use this dashboard.